Middle East Report with James Dorsey on Sabahul Muslim.
James, a very good morning to you. Welcome as always.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Let's start with Benjamin Netanyahu, long viewed as a narcissist and an opportunistic cat with 9 lives. He seems to be driven as much by his ultra-nationalist ideology as by a quest for political survival, irrespective of the cost to human life and Israel's national interest.
Indeed. So the long-standing perception of Netanyahu has been one who's a political master in playing the game. He's an opportunist. He emphasizes and prioritizes his personal interests. But fact of the matter, he is all of that. But fact of the matter is that he's also an ultra-nationalist. And he's demonstrated that increasingly over the years, prides himself on preventing the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. And he confirmed it this week when, during an interview with an Israeli television station, one of the largest ones, the interviewer gave him an amulet, which had on it a map of Greater Israel, with other words, an Israel that stretches into territories belonging to its Arab neighbors, not just all of Palestine. And when he was asked by the interviewer whether he felt a connection to that concept of Greater Israel, he said he was very connected.
Hamas's recent renewed acceptance, with minor modifications, of a several-month-old temporary ceasefire proposal will now, I suppose, constitute a litmus test of whether there is any wiggle room in both Israel and Hamas's positions.
Indeed, what we're seeing is parallel mediator negotiations. With other words, on the one hand, you have 3 negotiators, the United States, Qatar, and Egypt. As far as the United States is concerned, President Trump has, over the recent weeks, for all practical matters, withdrawn from the negotiations, emphasizing starvation in Gaza and the need to supply food, even though he, in doing so, adheres to what the Israelis want, which means exclusion of the United Nations and international organizations. And on the other hand, you have, and of course, Trump has basically said there can be no release of the hostages until Hamas has been defeated, and he has basically swung behind Israel's demand and in a reverse of policy, rejecting any more temporary ceasefires and instead wanting a permanent end on Israel's terms, which would also lead to the release of all hostages remaining in Gaza in one go. And on the other hand, you have the Qataris and the Egyptians who have pressured Hamas into accepting the month-old proposal for a 60-day ceasefire with some concessions on the part of Hamas.
A touted potential future post-war governor of Gaza, Simon Huleila, is betting on US, Israeli, and Gulf backing and Palestinian desperation for an end to Israel's senseless daily killing of tens of Gazans, many as they scrape for food or seek to escape attacks in advance of an Israeli takeover of Gaza City. What do we know about him and his prospects?
Well, indeed, what you have here is a situation in which this war is going to end at some point, and there is going to have to be an interim administration that has some Palestinian fig leaf. You now have a businessman, economist, and a former advisor to the internationally recognized Palestine Authority saying that he would be willing to take over the post of governor of Gaza in the interim period. His name is Samir Hulila. He is betting on, indeed, U.S., Israeli, and Gulf backing, and on the fact that Palestinians in Gaza just simply want an end to the killing and want an end to the war. Hulila says that he was endorsed initially by the Biden administration, with other words, Donald Trump's predecessor. It's not clear whether that endorsement is being reaffirmed by the Trump administration, even though in the planning that the Israelis and the Americans are doing with regard to a post-war Gaza, the idea of one governor rather than a committee or a government of technocrats governing Gaza is prevalent. The problem with that, or the reason for that, of course, is that Israeli efforts to persuade clan and tribal leaders in Gaza, many of whom are opposed to Hamas and have expressed their opposition to Hamas, who have been unwilling to line up or sign up for a post-war administration that would be subservient to Israel and would circumvent existing Palestinian governmental infrastructure, whether that's Hamas or the Palestine Authority.
Now, a Turkish threat to take military action against a US-backed Kurdish militia in northern Syria raises the specter, James, of a clash with Israel that views the Kurds as its natural allies.
Indeed, you have several issues again here playing out. Turkey very recently this week threatened to take military action against the Syrian Democratic Forces. That's a predominantly Kurdish militia in the north that controls territory, and that where the shock troops of the US-led fight against the Islamic State. They have so far refused to integrate or to disarm, if you wish, and integrate their arms and personnel into a Syrian national army. The Syrian government, President Ahmed al-Shara, demands that they do so as individuals, whereas the Syrian Democratic Forces have said they would only do so as a bloc within the military. At the same time, the Israelis have said that the Kurds are their national allies. They've projected themselves as the protectors of minorities in Syria, primarily the Druze and the Kurds. And this all is, and what this battle is really about is a battle for control of Syria, who is going to be the dominant foreign player in the country. And it's also a positioning for regional leadership. At the same time, Turkish-Israeli relations are at not an all-time low, but at a very low point. In fact, this week, the Turkish president said that Turkey would boycott all ships that would stop at his Turkish ports that have any connection with Israel.
All right, James, as always, thank you so much for your time and for the update. Really appreciate it. Have a great week.
It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Listeners can look out for James's articles on jamesmdorsey.substack.com.